feel like you're nothing, but you wanna be something. Yeah. Well, all you really need is hope. I just want you to trust me if you wanna be something.
That's right. Let's go. Yeah, when you're feeling down and you're out, like you got nothing but doubt, you're alone in the crowd, just trying to figure it out. All that is bad, and this money got you feeling left out. Listen up to me now, every word that's out of my mouth. Wake up, it's me. You're gonna follow your dreams, or are you just gonna be another cog in the scene? You feel the hope in this beat, yeah, the hope that you need to proceed and be exactly what you want it to be. I feel right, and I'm proud, hype and I'm loud. I'ma shout all about how I feel in the now. Ain't nobody ever gonna try to change me till I'm dead, pushing up daisies. I'm alone in the crowd, I won't feel down. I got hope right now, and I know I'll be found. I don't really care just what all other haters gotta say. I know everything I do is gonna make them fade away.
And when you feel like you're nothing, but you wanna be something. Yeah. Well, all you really need is hope. I just want you to trust me if you wanna be something.
Yeah.
Then all you really need is hope.
Take a look in the mirror, are you seeing some fear? You hear the voice in your ear, can you start to see clear? Are the bad thoughts near? Or can you be where your feet are when you stand right here and say no? I'm never gonna give up, I'm never gonna slow. The one that doesn't give up never loses to a foe. The one that could show to myself I could go all the way to the top, can't stop me. I'm a soldier, always closer till it's over. Older, but I'm bolder, moving forward, older, never slower. Good to know ya, don't go make me drop my shoulder. You need to believe you can achieve everything that you dream. Everything that you need is in the air that you breathe. It's in the mind that you feed. It's in the time that you bleed. Every second of life is another blessing to me.
And when you feel like you're nothing, but you wanna be something. Yeah. Well, all you really need is hope. I just want you to trust me if you wanna be something.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, it's what you need when you're down, need when you're out. It's what you need when you're sad and when you feel left out. You feel an energy drought and then creeps out. But with a little bit of hope, you can figure it out. Let's go. Keep your head high even when you're down inside.
Hey guys, how's it going? Good morning. How is everybody? Hi Pointer Lover. Hi Ramblin' Rome. Hi Savvy Zam. Hi Rhonda Roy. Good morning. Good morning, Michael. Hi BC. Hi Mama Bear. Hi Kim. Good morning. Hello Ashley Oaks. Hi Stephanie. Ringo. Naomi Irion is the case that Ringo and I met on. And wow. Can you believe it, Ringo, that he took the easy way out? Can you believe that that's what we're getting ready to discuss today? You would think, like, why didn't he just do that to begin with? It could have saved us a lot of time and a whole court process. Yeah, Ramblin'. It is. It's unbelievable. But at the same time, so I was looking this up because I remembered way back whenever he was very first arrested, they had a competency evaluation that they did on him. And he had tried to commit suicide back then too. Yes, Oakley Carlson we're going to talk about as well. Jordan Bowers is in court this morning for her sentencing. She took a plea deal on the case. You wonder how the family feels. I can't even imagine the mixed emotions. Put a one in the chat if you know who Troy Driver is. I'm curious how many of you people are already aware of Naomi's case and who he is. Troy Driver is the bald monster over on the far left of your screen. But two if you're not sure who he is. You followed the whole case, yeah. We followed that one really close. That was probably one of my first, like, bigger cases. where it was actually like we were covering it and then it like got really big really fast, and it was really nerve-wracking for me because I was so small on my channel. I think I was like between 1 and 2,000 subs at the time, and I could not breathe because I was so scared because there's so many people in here. It was a lot. Wow, so there's actually a good bit of you guys. Okay. Okay, so we'll go down through that case a little bit then, and we will show you guys who Naomi is, first of all, and who Driver is. So let me pull up this article from yesterday or this morning, last night, whenever it is first. And it says man accused of kidnapping and killing Nevada 18-year-old dies by suicide in jail while awaiting trial. So this is him. This is Troy Driver. And at the time of Naomi's disappearance, she was 18 years old. She was living with her brother at the time, and she had went to work that morning and then never came home, and he reported her missing. Police, whenever they very first reported her missing, considered her to be just like a runaway, an 18-year-old girl who went off to live her life, and they did little to no effort to look into Naomi's disappearance. um, her brother actually started the investigation on his own, was reaching out to different people and was trying to get search parties, trying to get things organized, looking for his sister. Her parents at the time lived in Africa. And so imagine the fear. She had been living in Africa with her parents, came here to go to college, finish out high school, things like that. And so her brother had to call her parents and be like, "Listen, Naomi is missing, and I don't know what happened to her." Yes, trust the family. This is where trust the family originated from. And so her parents, flew here, and there was a lot of confusion about what could have possibly happened. Her dad is an American consulate, or not an American consulate, but he's a political figure over there. And so they were concerned, could this have been a kidnapping by an opposing political party? Could this have been something where they targeted his young daughter where they could get access to her? All of those type of conspiracies and thoughts and theories played into that. So let me show you guys her picture because I've had this creep's face up on my screen for too long. I don't even think this article has one, just a teeny tiny picture. Here, we'll switch over to this one so we can have her face up instead. Okay. So at the time of her disappearance, Naomi was on her way to work whenever she was last heard from. She had been active on TikTok and her Snapchat and other applications prior to just vanishing, basically. And she would have been in the Walmart parking lot by where she lived. And because they had a ride share for the company that she worked for there. And so every morning she would go, she would get her coffee, she would get her snacks. I do, Ringo. Yes, and I can definitely play that for sure. So she would get her coffee, she would get her snacks, and she would get herself in the parking lot waiting for the ride share to pull up, as many other workers did. And I'm just telling you guys this off the top of my head. I don't have anything here, so if I miss something, please let me know. But I could definitely bring up articles and different things to go more thoroughly in depth. I'm just giving you guys a brief case overview for those of you who are completely unfamiliar. So Naomi was one of those cases where we were sitting here saying, just because she's 18 doesn't mean that we shouldn't care that she disappeared. Just because she is 18 does not necessarily mean that she would have run off and done all of these things. Um, so then there was a lot of controversy about, could she have just run off on her own? Couldn't she? Whatever, because the police were just completely not taking it serious at all. So her brother goes to the Walmart where she would typically park her car, and he asks to see the surveillance footage. and he wants to know what happened to his sister. And so since the police would not do it, he went and he sees Naomi get abducted on camera. He sees a man walk up to her vehicle and abduct her. And so that's whenever this case really took off. We've seen um, everybody in this community, in this town, everybody on YouTube, everybody everywhere was covering Naomi's case because it was terrifying to think, this young girl and her mom was doing interviews with people and saying like, she would have froze, she wouldn't have known how to respond, all of the things. But her brother was the one who had to initially see this footage and watch her be abducted and turn that over to police. And that's whenever police finally started searching for him. Police came out a few days later and they let us know about a black truck that had very distinguished um, markings on it. It was a newer truck. It had like upgrades on it that were very specific to certain vehicles. And so police were able to quickly get this photo out. Gray Hughes was actually able to manipulate the footage because police didn't tell us what time of day the photographs were coming from, and he was able to give us a distinct time frame based off of shadow analysis and things like that as to when the truck actually had been seen and what time it had left her vehicle that they inevitably found. When they found her vehicle, it was said that there was obvious signs of a struggle inside of the vehicle. And so immediately everybody at that point got extremely worried about her life and what happened to her. Um, so a neighbor of this creep of Troy Driver actually sees this truck in a garage next to his house weeks later and calls in the tip and says, "Hey, this guy next to me has that truck," and was able to call in the tip and say where Troy Driver was, and he was eventually arrested. Weeks later, they found Naomi buried in a shallow grave in the middle of the desert. This guy worked on coal mines, I think it was, and doing stuff with equipment. They were able to find the location where she was buried because somebody remembered delivering equipment to an area that didn't quite make sense, where he inevitably buried her. So I hope that gives you guys a brief summary of kind of the things that happened with her. And yeah, Gray Hughes is amazing. Hi, Avery. How are you? I'm just gonna scroll back up through real quick. Good morning, Dynamite. Good morning, Petunia. Hi, Catering Wench. Yeah, instead of a trial for evil, driver redirected efforts, right? You know what though? I understand like the family is going to probably be really upset that this happened. Because there's no conviction. There's no justice. He's going to get his justice though. You can't tell me he's gonna go anywhere friendly. This is the second time that this guy has been in prison for murder. The first time it was from whenever he was a younger man, and he had been involved with helping get a body put into the back of a trunk and things like that. Honestly, based off of how casually he walked up to her whenever he did kidnap her, I really think that it's a possibility that he could have other victims out there. There are a lot of missing women in this area that he was in and, just outside of it. Yeah, justice for Naomi will never be. Yep. So this is the article from this morning. I don't know why this, like, commercial is, like, so huge up here. It's really annoying though. Okay. So the man accused of killing Naomi Irion, an 18-year-old who vanished in March of 2022 from a Walmart parking lot in Nevada, has died by suicide, the Lyon County Sheriff's Office said in a news release. Troy Driver, 43, was in custody on murder charges and awaiting a trial for the murder of Naomi, the release said. He was in a maximum security jail cell and had no contact with other inmates. Deputies tried to resuscitate Driver after finding him unresponsive Sunday afternoon during a routine inmate check, the sheriff's office said. Sorry about that. No, I muted on purpose. She came in and said she had to go potty. He had been arrested shortly before Naomi's body was found, more than 2 weeks after she went missing. He had been denied bail in April on that murder charge. Naomi was last seen before dawn on March 12th, 2022, in her car in the parking lot of rural Fernley, Nevada. Nevada. Ugh. Authorities have said. She was waiting there to take a shuttle to work. Surveillance video shows a man in a gray hooded sweatshirt approach Naomi's car at 5:24 a.m. About a minute before the vehicle was seen leaving the parking lot with a man driving. Detective Eric said days later in a news conference, the car was found near the Walmart 3 days later. Driver had kidnapped and shot Irion and buried her body in attempt to conceal his crime, according to an amended criminal complaint filed by the Justice Court of Cannell Township in Lyon County. He was charged with murder, first-degree kidnapping, robbery, burglary of a motor vehicle, and destruction of evidence, it states. They had also charged him with other things that he had done to her, unfortunately, as well. So Naomi's body was recovered in a remote part of the neighboring Churchill County by authorities acting on a tip, they have said. So let me find you guys that video real quick of him.
Tonight, the search for the Nevada woman who went missing from a Walmart parking lot, now being called a kidnapping.
This is life or death for a beautiful and fun and amazing sister, daughter, and friend. She was just starting. She is. She's just starting her adult life. She hasn't even gone to college yet. She just graduated high school.
Naomi Irion's family desperate for more help.
She could be anywhere in the nation.
Police, now in their 9th day on the case, releasing this surveillance video showing the suspect who they believe is involved with her disappearance from Fernley, Nevada, a small town 30 miles outside Reno. Investigators pairing this video with cell phone data, trying to find answers. Police say, according to Irion's cell phone data, she arrived at the Walmart parking lot at 5:09 a.m. last Saturday. Her last Snapchat sent at 5:23 a.m. 1 minute later, police say the suspect approached her car, got in, and drove off with Irion in the passenger seat at 5:25 a.m. While her car was found nearby, investigators say her phone pinged for a span of 10 minutes about 5 miles away from the Walmart, where investigators searched for several days, but they say there's been no phone activity since last Saturday.
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure that they ever found her phone. I can't recall. They found pieces of different devices and things like that, but I don't think they ever found her phone. I'm not sure. Yeah, this trial would have been a nightmare for the family, Petunia, but at the same time, I think they wanted that justice. They wanted the answers about what had occurred throughout things. You know, some families are very different and don't want to know the horrific details, and other families they need to know for that closure. And so that was what took so long for the trial to begin. Ashley, this seems to be like just really how long trials are taking. I mean, look, we're still doing trials for stuff that was, 5, 6, 7 years ago, some stuff. So, I mean, It's just the way the court system is, unfortunately. It's just really, really far behind. Yeah, taxpayers payers won't have to feed him now, right? I think it would be hard to go through the autopsy photos and stuff like that. I agree too. Yeah, Laurel, COVID slowed things down way more than it was. Horrible. Let me finish this video, and then I gotta find the video of him actually walking around because I don't I thought this was gonna be it, and it's just not. So let me get that. A lot of my stuff from this case is still on my old desktop, and so I don't have it, like, readily available. Troy Driver is the person who, um, was suspected of unaliving her.
Probability, I would say, of finding a person okay greatly diminishes with the passing of time. So that's why there's this high level of urgency to find anybody who has any information.
Nearly 700 people gathering for a search party over the weekend, and investigators still looking for this truck, which they believe the suspect is driving. The community leaning on each other for support.
As soon as I saw it on Facebook, my first thought is, I want to help. I want to do something.
Another search planned for this Saturday, helping Irion's brother, Casey, hold on to hope.
They do it to us, they can do it to you. We need your help. This is a family. You have a family too.
Maura joins us now from LA.
So you want to talk about communities, though? This community was one of the first examples of a true community that I've ever seen. I mean, this was a case that took off on the internet too, and on like it was locally, it was huge. On the internet, it was huge. And this was one of the cases, I swear, I thought that this was how true crime was supposed to be, the way that this case was done. Nobody was attacking the family, nobody was accusing the brother of killing her. Nobody was saying all of the stupid things that we see in every single case now. There was not one channel with drama. There was none of it. Everybody just came together and got this girl's story out there and put her face everywhere. And we sleuthed the case, right? We looked into every detail that we possibly could. We pulled up maps. We were looking into different people, but we were not putting out suspects, right? We weren't sitting there putting out suspects, but we were looking for different victims that could possibly have occurred. We were looking for, different people that were missing were being brought to light through all of this. It was amazing. It was the way, in my opinion, that true crime is supposed to be. And sometime between Naomi and now, we have gotten so freaking twisted, and somehow the drama community has completely come into true crime, and you have very, very few true crime channels now that stay away from all of it. Right? You have very, very few true crime channels that are doing true crime because they want to do true crime and not because they want to put all the added suspicions and added freaking chaos and drama and whatever. No, they just are doing the crime. And so I wish that we could go back to when Naomi's case was a huge ordeal, because it was lovely. It was beautiful. Everybody was working together. Everybody was on the same page. Like I said, Gray Hughes did amazing work with the truck stuff. There was people who had people on for interviews that were able to give us insight into the cases and things like that. And the next thing you know, we had freaking Kylie Rodney was after this, and it was just a complete and total shit show and just a mess. And so it's ridiculous. Okay, so Yeah, Dylan Rounds kicked off the craziness. I think it was between Dylan Rounds and Kylie Rodney and Summer Wells and honestly Gabby Petito. Like, it brought unsavory people into the community, and with each case more unsavory people came, and we watched those people like have these complete and total crap shows and get tons of money, and then other people who were like borderline true crime, borderline not, decided, oh, well, if I have a crap show, maybe people will send me more money. And then they were like, that's just what they did. They just did crap shows after that. And it sucked because then it affected, like, people who don't want to do the crap shows. And yeah, that's just what happened. So let me get, sorry, I thought that was going to be the video, and it's totally not.
Very on edge and keyed up because we need news. We need to find her. We need to know. But we're also really scared that it's the wrong person and that we have to start the process all over again from the beginning.
So this is her mama, and this was after he was arrested that this one came out, and they have done several interviews and things like that. This has clips from the video. I gotta find it. I gotta find the whole thing, but I do want to hear from her mom since she's on this part, and just let you guys get a little bit more familiar with who she is.
It's the height of the emotion is it's wrenches your chest apart and makes you feel like you're having a heart attack and you're about to die.
On the docket tonight, the case of Troy Driver. Before we get to Troy Driver, let me get to the real story. But while she was in that hoodie,
so she was parked back up at the top of this screen here, and it was like he was waiting for her. Like, I don't know if he was specifically targeting her, but he walks around for outside of this Walmart and kind of paces, and then you see him make a V-line straight for her car. So had he watched her habits, had he been looking at her for several days, because this is where she parked almost in the same spot every single day, the cart pusher said, and he, like, you could see him just go straight for her on the video. And it was really devastating. But so this was released. Police put this out there, and I believe at the time Gray Hughes was able to get the shadow analysis of him walking, just a little bit of a shadow, and figure out how tall he might have been. And so that helped people, I think, look at Troy as well. But then whenever the truck came out, that was a big thing.
Kidnapper. You need to tell us where she is. Things will go much better for you if we find her safe and alive, because this case is very big, and agencies all the way up to the highest level in the federal government are paying attention to this. And if you do not give up her location, the weight that will fall on you is severe. You must give up my daughter's location. Please give my daughter back to me. Please.
Yeah, Amy, as if he was waiting for her to pull up. Hi, Cindy. So this was whenever they had arrested Troy, but they still didn't know where Naomi was. She wasn't found for almost 2 weeks after. People are first on the channel Gray Hughes Investigates. He really broke down screen by screen the image so that he was able to lighten it and different things like that so that we can see better what is happening in this. And so what you're going to see is up by the little StreamYard duck, you're going to see him come into the camera here, and he kind of stands down there, and a car parks down there at the end, literally with its headlights shining right on him. And so whoever this car is that pulls in, some people were speculating, what if they were standing there talking? To me, if I pulled into a parking lot and seen a guy wearing a full face mask, I would be immediately concerned. And so I'm wondering if investigators have talked to this individual or anything like that. Now, this person, we never see this person get out of their vehicle. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are involved in the crime that occurred here. Like I said, if it was me, if I pulled into a parking lot and seen some guy standing there in a full face mask like that, I wouldn't leave my car either until he left. And so that could be a good possibility as to why this person is just sitting there. Yes, Snickers, I did see that the mom is saying, that more footage should be released. Okay, so let's play this, guys. And so this is the car that I'm talking about, kind of comes in and it parks. He's already standing down here. It's very hard to see. He's just a little black dot basically on the camera screen. He is literally right by the neck collar of the little duck. If it's in you guys' way, I am so sorry. I might actually be able to exit full screen and make it better. Let me see here. Whoa. No, don't do that. That was bad. Okay, so that car is parked there with their headlights on, and he is in the very dark shadow there. He's already standing down there, just kind of pacing and like wobbling back and forth a little bit. Hi, Misty. How are you? And so he comes into the camera in just a second here, to where we can really, really see him. Skip ahead a little bit because he's literally like it's been a minute and 52 seconds and he's still just standing down there. And those people still have their headlights on. They still haven't moved or gotten out of their car. And honestly, to me, it looks like he's just past their car, not like standing there as if he would be talking to them. So here he is coming forward towards us now. And so he kind of like walks away from where that car is and he turns and he's looking. And now the police have cropped this video. She is actually parked up in this video already. She's already there. And he just keeps looking in the direction of her car. Oh yeah, she was definitely being watched for sure, Annie. And like to me, he doesn't even like try to hide the fact that he is standing there watching her. Unfortunately, she was likely too consumed with her phone. They said that she was looking at social media and Snapchat chatting people just moments before she was abducted. So he walks down towards the cameras and he actually goes out and he just stops and again stares at her vehicle. And there he is. And she's parked right past where they cropped it. Like, how creepy is this, you guys? He literally was like stalking her that morning. It was very clear that she was his target that morning. I don't know. Yeah, even scarier thought him creeping around with a baklava on. What's that? Hi, Roberta. Good morning. Have a good day, Heidi. Hi, Carrie G. So this was pretty much where they ended the video, though. Just 1 second later, and I can pull up the actual news article now. I had to default to finding it on my live at first because I was like, wait a second, I cannot find it. But this is the original news article that they put out and the original video without the duck neck in the way. Because back then, I didn't even make money on YouTube yet. I was not paying for StreamYard. I was using the free version. And so, like, that's how early in my YouTube career that this was. But it's really up here is where it is now. See, I know how to zoom now too. Oh, it's like a ski mask. Thank you so much, Dynamite. Good morning, Jordan. Let me do it this way so that I can zoom in for you guys. So like I said, he is already up here. Let me hit play. He's already up there watching her. And the only reason I think that he stopped watching her, like from up there, you can see his shadow moving around, was because that car pulled in. And the fact that he didn't try to abduct or hurt anybody else who pulled into the parking lot that day, I think he was just standing there watching her, waiting for her guard to be down, waiting for her to not be paying attention. And he intentionally targeted her. And it sucks because we're never going to know the truth now unless he left a note. You know, he did attempt to kill himself before, and he did have notes that he had left in his jail cell at that point. And my mind has constantly wondered, you know, was she his first? There he is right there. If you guys can make that out, just a black shadow moving around. I've always wondered if he had other victims. And would he have confessed to that before he did this, before he killed himself? I don't know. I hope so. I hope if there are more out there that he tells us. I hope he wrote down enough to admit that he did this to her, and that way the family can have the closure in that aspect. But it's pretty evident that it was him. I mean, they get him on camera abducting her Like I said, her brother is the one who found this footage and actually had to watch this footage. And he's the one who turned this over to police, like got Walmart involved in turning this over to police. But then they also have footage of him leaving the area where he left her car. His truck had been parked there. He dropped her car off, got in his truck, and drove away. This is him stopping once again after he walks away from where that car was to watch her again. And just so creepy. And we had a huge talk through all of this, about it being aware of your surroundings and things like that. I mean, if you're going to sit with your car in your car, make sure that the doors are locked, make sure that, you're keeping alert enough to know if someone is approaching you. But like her mom had said in multiple different interviews, Naomi was very trusting, and she would have just felt comfortable just sitting there. Like, she wouldn't have thought anything of it, especially having come from a place where they were in a constant state of danger and stuff like that. She had been protected her whole life by people. And so it really gave her this false sense of security, basically, about what could happen in the world. Whoa, let's back it up. And there he is, like he's looking straight at her. Yeah, Grizzly was another one who was covering the case. I was back whenever Grizzly was tiny too. She was only, I think, like 30,000, maybe 20,000. So, but like I said, he had tried to commit suicide before. So I guess it's really not that shocking that he was successful this time. Let me pull up. I guess in a way, it's just a little bit frustrating that they were not watching him closer, knowing that he had these previous attempts. It's this one. Oh boy.
This lady got red. The pink was pink feet. The pink first girl with pink feet.
This here is from September of 2022 when he initially attempted to commit suicide. And it said, Troy Driver, the man charged with kidnapping, sexually assaulting, and murdering Naomi Irion, survived an apparent suicide attempt in the Lyon County Jail and is being held in an observation cell. Rumors that he committed suicide began to circulate on social media earlier this week. On Tuesday, the Lyon County Sheriff's Office released a statement saying that Driver is alive and in jail awaiting his next court date. An ambulance had responded to the jail at 9:41 a.m. on August 20th for a report of a male hanging. Medics arrived and found the man still conscious and breathing, and he had been transported to the South Lyon Medical Center in Urington. The source confirmed that the person that was found hanging was Driver, and that Driver had tied bed sheets around his neck and to the railing on the upper tier of the jail and jumped over the railing. Deputies also found what appeared to be suicide notes in his cell. So like I said, I hope that those suicide notes, or if he wrote some this time, contain information that police might need or that the family might need. Driver is currently awaiting a competency hearing following the order. So, and like I had heard that this was actually his second attempt whenever this one happened. But I'm not sure if that's true or not, and that this one where he was successful was actually his third time attempting to do this. It just always makes me wonder, though, whenever you have these monsters that do take the easy way out and do commit suicide and things like that, why not do that before you commit the heinous, horrible crime? If you had this in your mind and you knew that you didn't want to go to jail or didn't want to to suffer the consequences for these horrible, horrible things that you were thinking or did do, then why not just take your own life to begin with? Why are we taking innocent lives instead, you know? Like, I mean, not that I want to say that I obviously I don't want people to self-harm, but if your options are harming someone else or harming yourself, I don't know. I have to say, don't don't I don't know. Don't harm somebody else. Like, it's not fair to them. Thank you, Joey girl. I know I've actually spoke with her mom before. It's just been a very long time. I had been on channels with her mom at one point, and her brother actually more so too. Yeah, don't let the door hit ya. Evil and selfish. They believe they're above the law and that they'll get away with it. I don't know. It's always devastating no matter which way it goes. You feel like he watched her and realized she didn't work at Walmart and no one there really knew her. She became an easy target. Maybe. Like I said, that whole company had people that would park in that parking lot, and they had a shuttle that would come and get them and take them to where they worked. So, yeah, it's terrible for the family and friends not really getting answers they need. I hoped he poured all the truth in the note that he left. I agree. Why harm others because of your own issues? I imagine so, Joey girl. I don't expect them to talk at all, to be completely honest. I'm sure this is a lot to deal with. I'm sure it's like very overwhelming right now to know that he took the easy way out. It's got to be a mix of emotions because they they'll never get the justice, but God will give it to them, if that makes sense. Like, God will take care of the justice now. He would have anyways, but now it's quicker, in my opinion. But it still doesn't necessarily close the door completely. Like, it's got to be a bittersweet type of situation. Her brother posted on Facebook last night. He said, "We got the call a while before the press release. I deeply regret that he took the easy way out before the trial. I have no doubt in my mind what I have been privy to that he is the perpetrator." A lot of mixed feelings at the moment. So that's what he said in response, and he posted the press release, the actual press release. Let me pull this up for you guys, and I'll read down through it. Hey, you wish they could still have the trial so they could close the door completely. Yeah, they'll never get to say their part for him at sentencing. That's hard. They'll never get to confront him for what he did. Hi, Sarah Hart. How are you? Definitely, if you're thinking about self-harm, reach out to 988. I don't want to have anybody think like, oh, Sleuth Mom's saying go out and kill yourself. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying. But if we have to choose between somebody harming somebody and taking a life, I don't know. I would rather that. I would rather Troy Driver had done this long before he decided to hurt Naomi and take an innocent life. Yeah, even the grand jury, so the family can hear and give guilty and give a statement. They'll release, I'm sure, the files to them, like the actual case and everything. The evidence, they'll be able to see the evidence, I'm sure. You can't imagine how her brother is doing. God love him. The police don't believe him. He investigates and solves his sister's case. He was her rock. He was all in all her rock. He really got the ball rolling for her. So this is the actual press release, and then we are going to move on to Oakley Carlson because I want to make sure I cover that as well this morning. says on August 6th of 2023 at 18:17, which is 6:17 in the afternoon, deputies assigned to the Lyon County Jail were conducting a routine hourly cell check and conducting inmate head counts when they discovered an inmate who was unresponsive. Upon discovering the inmate, deputies immediately entered the cell and started life-saving measures to include CPR. The duty jail control room officer requested an ambulance, which was in turn dispatched to the jail. While deputies performed CPR on the inmate, medical personnel with the Yerington and Mason Valley Fire Department arrived and took over life-saving attempts of the inmate. CPR was continued, and after several rounds with no effect, fire department medical personnel contacted an emergency room doctor through regional medical control, who was advised of the life-saving attempt and advised medical personnel on scene to terminate CPR and pronounce the inmate deceased. The deceased inmate is identified as 43-year-old Troy Driver, who was in custody on murder charges and awaiting trial for the murder of Naomi. Preliminary details thus far indicate that Driver committed suicide by asphyxiation. He was housed in a maximum security jail cell and had no other contact with inmates. Per Lyon County Sheriff's Office policy, an outside agency is required to conduct a custody death investigation. The Nevada State Police Division of Investigations was requested to respond to the Lyon County Jail to complete a full and thorough investigation surrounding the events leading to Driver's death. At this time, there are no further details surrounding the death and investigation that will be released. A press conference to release additional details and information surrounding the case and the death will be scheduled in the future. I want to express my sincerest condolences to Naomi's family. My thoughts and prayers are with you. Respectfully, Sheriff Brad Pope. So whenever they do this press conference, obviously we will follow up and see what it is they're going to say and how they will put a bow on her case, essentially, for the public. It'll never end for her family, unfortunately. They're always going to have this huge piece of their life that's missing. Hi, Mallory. Good morning. Hi, Rexy. Good morning in the bushes. When do those who are responsible for freeing these maggots get held accountable? I mean, nobody freed him. Oh, you mean because he was arrested before for murder? Is that what you mean? And then was walking back on the streets and able to do this? I think part of that was because in that original case that he was in, the original murder that he had committed, he wasn't the perpetrator in that one. He did serve his full sentence. He assisted in hiding the body, essentially, and assisted in the crime, but he was not the one who actually murdered the individual. And so I think that's part of why he got out. I want to say he was in, though, for 10 or 15 years. How long was it, Ringo? Do you remember? Let me see if Google knows real quick. Of course, all Google is going to pull up now is the fact that he is deceased. I'm gonna have to look back. I know that we had done video. Yeah, it was 7+. It obviously not long enough, right? Because it happens over and over. I get what you're saying for sure. And oftentimes we do see re-offenders. And so then that begs the question, do people ever truly get rehabilitated? It's a very loaded question. It really is, because I have seen people make mistakes in their life and do a complete 180 and they change and they grow up and they do things completely different, right? No matter what the circumstances. But then there are other things that I fully believe that you can never truly be rehabilitated from. For example, a pedophile. I don't think that a pedophile can ever be not a pedophile? Can they behave and not cave into their desires? Sure, I think that they can practice self-control to a point, but it doesn't make them any less a pedophile, in my opinion. That's so is it the same way with a murderer? I think it would depend on how the crime was committed. Was it something heinous like what happened to Naomi? Or was it accidental? Was it something that was planned? I think it's hard. I think it's hard to say. He should have been monitored in the community, you think? If everyone would change, we wouldn't have these sickos. You wish that this was the case with all of these, right? So, I mean, it's like a kind of loaded question. Thank you so much, Kim, for being here. Enjoy your time at the grocery store. I think it's kind of a loaded situation because, like I said, I know in my past, okay, even just within the last year, I have done things that I regret and that I would never do again. I have made mistakes. And so if we were to take every mistake that happens in someone's life and we say that, well, that defines that person and that's who they will be forever. Will it ever be undone? Will we ever have anybody who is able to be outside of jail, right? Ever? Because if you hold people to that, I don't know. It's hard. It's tough. People change. There is court today, Mallory, in Lily Peters' case. So it started this morning and it will go all week. I have not found a video feed yet. If I find a video feed of it, then I will pull it up, but there was no video feed this morning that I could find. Hence why I came on with this other stuff. So let me see. Right now, oh, here it is. I got it. How about that? So I think what we'll do is we'll finish this live and then I'll come back on with Lily Peters' court then. How about that? So I do want to talk about Jordan Bowers though before I finish this one. And then what I'll do is I'll wrap this live up. I'll get another live stream started and we will watch court together. For those of you who are interested, they are determining if Lily Peters, if CPB will be tried in juvenile court or if he will be tried in adult court. And Lily Peters was a 10-year-old girl who was murdered by her cousin. And so we talked about that a little bit last week, leading up to court today. So let me see. I was looking all morning for that live feed. I'm so glad that you mentioned it because we were totally going to do that. Yeah, I love watching court too. So we'll be a little bit behind so that way we can watch it without the breaks, hopefully. Let's see. So, and then that'll be all this week. We'll be in court. Okay. And so let me talk about what's going on real quick with I gotta pull it up, sorry, with Oakley Carlson. There's so many updates, you guys, and so many of the cases that I have covered right now, and there's just a lot going on. So let me pull this up for you guys. It's a pretty quick one. Okay. So Jordan Bowers is scheduled to appear in court tomorrow morning in Grays Harbor County to be sentenced after she accepted a last-minute plea deal in an identity theft case not linked to Oakley. Bowers and her husband, Andrew Carlson, are the prime suspects in the disappearance of 6-year-old Oakley Carlson. She was last seen in February of 2021. Recently, the court records released show that prior to her disappearance, Oakley was being kept locked in a cell underneath the stairs. When her sister was interviewed by investigators looking for Oakley, she told them that Oakley had started the house fire. So you guys remember the house fire in that case and the fact that Oakley had not been seen since. She had started the house fire with the mother's torch and was subsequently beaten for it. She also told them that Oakley was under her mother's bed and then said that she was in the woods. That's one of the details mentioned in the Court of Appeals opinion published this month involving the release of DCYF records regarding Oakley and her siblings. So what I want to do eventually, and I'm not going to do it today because court has already started, is read down through these documents with you. I do have the documents. And so the juvenile court specified that it was releasing the records on an emergent basis of locating Oakley, who has remained missing and is in extreme danger. In our prior coverage, we reported that Oakley's sister would later tell Grays Harbor County that they told her not to talk about Oakley, adding that Oakley had gone out into the woods and had been eaten by wolves. In the court ruling, her sister confirmed another sibling's statements regarding the mother physically abusing Oakley and that Oakley was not safe in her mother's care. So, Fox 13 News recently interviewed Jamie Jo Hiles, Oakley's loving foster mother, who raised her before DCYF forced her to give Oakley back to Jordan and Andrew Carlson. Both of them served time in jail for exposing their children to meth, but Carlson was released. They pleaded guilty to child endangerment with a controlled substance, and neither has cooperated with investigators to help find Oakley, other than saying that they had lost track of her. When questioned by police officers, her parents have reported back that they had lost track of Oakley between 5 and 10 days prior and late November of 2021. Carlson then filed a formal missing person report in December of 2021, 10 months after anyone else had reported seeing the little girl. I don't feel good about knowing that Andrew is free, said Hiles. He's out there in Wenatchee living a good life, and Jordan is going to serve some time, and then she's going to be free. Where does that put Oakley? Where does that put her siblings? Currently, there is still an $85,000 reward for anyone who can say where Oakley is. So, the appeals court conclusion, the appeals court held up the decision to release the records to the sheriff's office for the purpose of aiding in the investigation in Oakley Carlson's disappearance. However, they ruled the court erred in releasing the records involving Oakley's sibling, DC. There was an open case for abandonment with that sibling, and that's not why the sheriff's office said they were asking for them, so they should not have been released. Same with the other sibling, BBP. Because DCF's investigation was not the basis for for her record release, DC was not the juvenile in question, therefore the juvenile court erred when they released the records. So, and then they attached the link to the court records. But Oakley, through all of this, is still missing. They don't know where she is. They still have not located her. And like I said, that's an $85,000 reward. So we will. No, that's Harmony you're thinking of. Oakley is the one that her sister told the principal that Oakley was no more because she had been eaten by wolves. Okay, and then Cordarius is the other update that I wanted to give you guys before I end, which is somewhere. And I'll come right back, you guys, with let me set it up before I even end. That way it just pops right back up. So this guy is in the beginning of my intros. You guys see him all the time. And he was found alone, dirty, disheveled in a Texas alley in January. 6 months later, Midland police in Texas still do not know who the teen is, and he is only known as Cordarius. They don't know where he came from or where his family is, but he has a new family now, according to police, and is making incredible strides in his own unique way. Efforts to identify Cordarius, birth family, are hampered by his inability to communicate, and they still have not gotten any DNA hits. So they shared a long-awaited update about him, saying that he is a very joyful child and that he loves to swim, played basketball, and he is now attending church weekly and enjoys social events with his caregivers. So he is currently in foster care, and he is enjoying his foster siblings and being able to play and hang out with them. They do estimate that he's between 13 and 17 years old, and he was found completely alone wandering on the street. This is the photo that they gave to us initially that is in my thing. Let me see. Do they have the video with the pictures of his update? Because he looks so much better. He looks like actually happy in the updates. Here they are. So here's a new photo of him. And like you could just see, he has light in his eyes now. He's smiling. But still no clue about where he came from. They're still searching for answers. So I just wanted to share his face out again too before we end this one. Close some of these tabs real quick. It's just 1 second, you guys. Okay, sorry. Got like really quiet. It's like my brain like just stops sometimes. So we get this, and I will see you guys over on the other stream. It should redirect you. Hopefully I just did that okay. And it should take you straight over to it. Upload. We'll do this. Okie dokie. Let me see. Should everything work? Let's see what happens. Yeah, happy to see him so happy. Me too. Me too. Hi, Dina. I know. It is. He looks so much healthier. And I hope that they find out who abandoned him. Like he needs justice for that. I hope that it wasn't a situation where the person was, deceased or hurt or something. So, all right, I will see you guys over in court, and let me see if I can rewind. Meet you over there. Bye.